to just see all of y'all and not be able to see your beautiful faces. I'm looking at our wonderful speakers, but it's good to have y'all here and feel your wonderful energy. We're super excited to kick off another month of Women Speak. Our debut was last month, which if you did not see that, oh my goodness, it was amazing. They brought down the house, and you can check that out at our new lovely website. You can check that out at wocspeak.com. So you can go to Crowdcast and see the amazing performers. But I'm gonna tell you, this month is just gonna be as fire as last month because we've got some powerhouses, don't we, Gaia? Hey,
Yeah, I'm
Gaia.
so excited.
So I want to also welcome my lovely, lovely co-curator and co-coordinator, Gaia. Hi, Gaia.
Hi, Khalisa. So I'm so beyond honored to be organizing and curating this event with the amazing Khalisa and to be able to introduce our MC tonight. So I'll just read her bio now. KB Carle lives and writes outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She is the associate editor at Fractured Lit and editor at Flashback Fiction. Her stories have appeared in Craft Literary, Cheap Pop, Jellyfish Review, Milk Candy Review, and have been nominated for Best of the Net, Best Small Fictions, and the Pushcart Prize. She can be found online at kbcarl.com or on Twitter at kbcarl. Let's welcome KB and this amazing lineup.
Thank you so much, Gaia and Khalisa, for having me. I'm so excited about the reading tonight. And welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and listening to all of these wonderful women of color speak and read their poems tonight. If you want to buy any of our readers' books tonight that are already out, you can purchase them through Skylight Books, and hopefully they'll also be dropping some links into the chat as we continue reading, whether it's WOCspeak.com, which you'll be able to find multiple wonderful things, including upcoming events, which we'll speak about more at the end of the reading, which I'm also very excited about. We want to send a friendly reminder and thank you to the partners of the Offing and Postscript magazine. A special thank you to Ashaki, Gareth, and Vamika for hosting and wonderful welcoming us tonight. Thank you all so much. And also we want to remind you all in the chat that this is a safe space and all of our readers are sharing their words with you. And we want to share all of our love notes with them. So if you hear a line that you especially like, quote it in the chat, send them all the love in the world, cheer them on, and just know that you're listening in and you're enjoying yourselves. And this is just a wonderful way to just show your love for all of these wonderful writers tonight. That said, we don't want any rude comments. This is a friendly space. No rude comments, no negativity. Let's keep it positive. Let's keep it moving. If you are negative or rude to any of our readers, you will be banned or kicked off through the reading. So let's make sure we just keep the positive energy going throughout the night. Our first reader, unfortunately, was unable to join us tonight, but we still have a wonderful recording by Mahogany Browne. Her bio is as follows. Mahogany L. Browne lives in Brooklyn, New York, and is the executive director of Bowery Poetry Club, artistic director of Urban Word NYC, and the poetry coordinator at St. Francis College. Browne has received fellowships from Agnes Gunn, Air Serembe, Kaveh Kanam, Poets House, Mellon Research, and Rauschenberg. She is the author of WOC, A Young Poet's Call to Justice, Woke Baby and Black Girl Magic with Macmillan, Kissing Caskets with Yes Yes Books, and Dear Twitter with Penmanship Books. He is also the founder of the Woke Baby Book Fair, a nationwide diversity literature campaign. You can also pre-order her upcoming book, Chlorine Sky, on her website, mahoganylbrowne.com. Here's her recording that she's so graciously shared with us tonight.
One second, Khalisa, I don't think we can hear it.
Oh no. Okay, hold on 1 second, y'all. So, because I'm over here enjoying it. Okay, so share computer sound. There we go. Okay, y'all, here we go. Let's start that over because it's really good. And I was feeling it. Okay. All right, here we go.
Peace. Happy New Year. My name is Mahogany Browne, and I'd like to share a piece. Live here from Antigua. You may hear the sea and the wind. Hopefully that's comforting wherever you are, though. Steady yourself. Put both heels on the ground if you can. Open palms face up to the sky. And I'll share a meditative poem with you, if that's okay. Today you will, and today you choose. Today is yours. Yes, today is only today. Tomorrow ain't here yet, so slow down. Slow down. Breathe softly, slowly. Breathe for the homies that ain't here. Breathe for the homies that is. Breathe for your own good skin, your smile, your you. Come back. Come back. Come back to yourself. Look at your cheekbones. Look at the loft of your eyebrows. You so worthy. You so heavy in your weight of yes. You so necessary. You so fly. You wet the water. You cool the brow. You heat the skillet. You the sunset and the sustenance. You keep them chasing the sparks you leave. Today you will. And today you choose. And today is yours. Yes, today is only today. Because tomorrow ain't here yet. So slow down. Slow down. Breathe softly. Slowly. Breathe for the homies that ain't here. Breathe for the kin that is. Breathe for your own good skin, your smile, your tribe, your you. Come back. Come back. Come back to yourself. Miraculous stargaze. Most fortunate sky beam. Beyond brilliant, be your resilience. But you knew that already. Who told you any different? You tell them. Today you will. And today you choose. And today is yours. Yes, today is only today. Because tomorrow ain't here yet, so slow down. Slow down. Breathe softly. Breathe slowly. Breathe for the homies that ain't here. Breathe for the kin that is. Breathe for your own good skin, your smile, tribe, you. Come back, come back, come back to yourself. Anything that don't heighten your stride, leave it today. Anything that don't wingspan, propel you forward, leave it today. Anything that don't make you feel worthy, holy, whole, leave it today. Whoever told you you wasn't strong, whoever told you you wasn't brilliant, whoever told you you wasn't beautiful is a lie. Deep breath in, exhale. Thank you. Be you. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Wow. Keep my heels planted on the floor for that one and keep on breathing. That was amazing. And once again, if you want to pre-order Mahogany Browne's upcoming book, Chlorine Sky, check out her website at mahoganybrown.com. So up next, we have our first featured reader. I'm trying not to squeal because I'm super excited. I'm excited about all these readers. But K-Ming Chang. K-Ming Chang is a Kudaman Fellow, a Lambda Literary Award finalist, and a National Book Foundation 5 Under 35 honoree. Her debut novel, Bestiary with One World Random House in 2020, was longlisted for the Center for Fiction's first novel prize and named the New York Times Book Review Editor's Choice. Her short story collection, Resident Aliens, is forthcoming from One World. More of her writing can be found at kmingchang.com. Let's give a warm welcome to K-Ming Chang.
Hi, thank you so much, KB, for introducing, and thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this space. I'm super excited to read with you all. So hopefully you can hear me as well. Hopefully, yes, good, okay, great. So I'm gonna read a short microfiction piece and then read 2 poems. So this one is called Asymmetry. I cut my mother's hair every month since her hands went wild. They're rabid, boomeranging around the room, returning every touch twice as hard, slapping her face when she's asleep, ambushing mosquitoes, crawling under the sofa like rodents. I cut her hair shorter in the front than in the back. She likes asymmetry, the unevenness of things. She claims that's why she fell in love with my father. He had one eye that was double-lidded and one that was single-lidded, one smaller than the other, which my mother calls bong feng yin, dragon phoenix eyes, a sign of good luck. Eyes like coins, like currency, spending themselves empty. Every month, I spray my mother's hair from the roots to the tips, trace the cowlick on her scalp, trim away the bleached brittle ends. Unlike her, I prefer symmetry. I cut my own hair in a bob so abrupt that my friends call me a cartoon character. I like straight lines, pleats, windows that are perfectly square, cornered light. I don't like things that hinge or open by themselves, like doors or mouths or paths. The woman who taught me at cosmetology school had a haircut like my mother's, asymmetrical, red highlights, bangs dangling over one eye. One day in class, she volunteered to be my practice customer. I kept looking at her face in the mirror instead of at her hair, at my own hands, and so I nicked her by accident, the left ear tip. I touched my tongue to her ear, sucked away the blood. It was instinct, I told her later, but she still expelled me, said I needed to learn limits. How could I explain that whenever I saw blood, I could only imagine it inside my own mouth? That once, days after I spoke back to my father, one of my eyes was swollen shut and the other remained open. How I couldn't bear to look at the asymmetry of my eyes in the mirror, one dragon, one phoenix, wondering what woman could fall in love with looking this way. So that was the first piece, a bit of fiction. This next one is called The Chinese Sappho, and it was because I was doing a project on a poet called Wu Zhao. And all of the scholarship I found was like, oh, she's the Sappho of ancient China. And I was like, what if Sappho is actually the Wu Zhao of ancient Greece? I was like, let's flip that script. Yeah, so it's called The Chinese Sappho. To translate my mother, I swab her mouth with a sword. I have never understood her grief as grammar. She wants the plural of violet to be violence, the plural of woman, omen. I knew the definition of dam before dike. I've never read The Price of Salt, and blue is the warmest color is so white I wrote it this poem. Yes, I will always want my mother more than a lover, but I still dream of your breasts floating over my head like furred moons. I mumble your name with a blood-bent tongue. Daylight defaces me, shreds the eye. I lose more and more face every time a woman compliments my eyes. I want to pluck them out, soft boil them in their sockets, and eat away the whites. A tragedy that's Greek to you is Chinese to me. Is there a difference between wanting a country to home and wanting a body to home? Don't tell me I'll learn the language it takes to know. Don't call Uzal the Sappho of China. Don't forget Greek was once a tonal language. Like Chinese, it enters the body slant. They say the mouth shapes after its language. My mouth ringing your nipple is a vowel. In my dialect, every name begins on a vowel, the mouth circling itself. I circled your chest like a restless bird, cribbing inside your ribs, your heart ringing vowels out of blood. Over the phone, I teach my mother the difference between singular and plural. I say the word changes to match the thing. She says, no, a word is the thing itself. One woman is a woman. Two, a woman, woman. Three, a woman, woman. Woman, she asks, when will you learn to act the word? Like a mother's voice, I want to be beginningless. Too soon the tones of my name sour like morning breath. When a word is gone, the meaning haunts the mouth hole. When my body doubles over, a ghost saddles my back. The sum of my meat is mare, the sum of my language, loss. And then this is the last one. I wanted to end on a love poem, so this is a love poem. Symmetry. How our bodies domesticate disaster, by swallowing another country's rain, by raining my jaw to the sea, my bones lurched into boats, my breasts bitten into apples. My mother says women who sleep with women are redundant, the body symmetrical to its crime. Between your knees, I mistake need for belief in a father figure. Once we renamed our fathers by burning them out of our bodies, smoking the sky into meat. I have my father's name, Chang meaning archer. I consider coming clean through you like an arrow. I consider the way we shape in bed, like the sea has revised its shoreline, and we, the country it moves to meet. Every language has different words for the same want. I name you the body of water my thirst is native to. When I kiss you, I remember every silence begins inside a mouth. Everything edible begins as a bird. At night, birds peck peepholes into the dark, the way I have always watched women. In the distance, between a girl and herself, is an entire body, bull's-eyed, arrowed wholly. A girl castling her voice into a throat of stone. I kiss you and forget to turn on the dark. I taste salt afterward, trace where light through a window veins your body. It's wanting to reroute your blood someplace safe. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, K-Ming Chang. And if you would like to check out more of her writing, go to her website at kmingchang.com. Up next, please help me welcome the wonderful Christina Im. Christina Im is a Korean-American writer and undergraduate at Princeton University. Her work has appeared in Strange Horizons, The Adroit Journal, Diode Poetry Journal, and The Margins, among others. She was a 2018 finalist for Best of the Net, and her poem, Meanwhile in America, was selected by Natalie Diaz for inclusion in Best New Poets 2017. Please welcome Christina Im.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you to KB for that amazing introduction, and to Gaia and Khalisa for dreaming this up and inviting me to be here. I'm really excited to be here amongst legends. I'm really grateful. So I guess I'll just get right into it. This first poem is called Invention of the Color Yellow. A girl is given a bullet and told to throw it up when she's ready. A girl is given a season and nowhere to empty it into. I can say whatever I want, and this is somebody's greatest fear. A girl is given a light bulb and told her secrets one by one. She holds them like toy knives. She puts them away in my gut. If they come out, and they will come out, it's me who will bleed to death. My voice breaking over diamonds. My voice like water in a tiny waterfall. Cities drowned in paint, but only when the sun is down. A girl is given back to her gods when they've run out of worlds to end. I tell her whatever can be imagined can be killed, which is why you are unimaginable. Which is why I sit here holding your skin so you can't put it on. A girl is given a reason not to run. A girl is given feathers and hot glue. The girl is very smart. We were counting on that. And the only thing she hates more than her hands is putting them where no one can see. I tell her, pick them up, make them useful, make them pretty enough to eat, put them in my mouth so I can starve looking more like me. The second one is, thank you. The second one is very spiteful. I've been thinking a lot about my most spiteful poems lately. And this one is a spiteful self-love poem. So it's called Idol, after the BTS song of the same title. Catch my breath like a stone and throw it. Make a tight dress of whatever it kills. Let's dance. I'll mutiny me a new head for this neck. Cut me a halo to keep it there. Border caught silver, profane around my throat. Dirty word you teach me, so I know I'm dangerous. I'll stride on over it into my own mouth. I'll sit with my back to your white camera. My true name, your only weather. Make me mine, alleluia. Pale me out of your sickest ribs. Behold, the myth that already moves. Every breath jeweled into better bones. Take one, weigh it, sigh into its skin. See the world shiver over my back like wings, my own cut bloodlines singing me awake. Look, I have a ravenous pulse, and it's cracking the amber around all your eyes. It's your storyboard, your props in revolt. It's your signature packed like ash under my tongue. Don't you know my face? Didn't you break it open? Being beautiful, it's no crime. Take the blame for what you've built. I move pure, bloodied, stupendous honey. I'm going to love me all the way back. Thank you. And this last one is sort of a drafty, overly earnest poem because I think that I don't write a ton of comforting poems. And so I thought I would just read a quick one, hopefully, to take along as a sort of note of hope. This is called I'm in Love with You, I Think a Little. I forgot it could go like this. My breaths round and tinned and punched to bits in the cold. You next to me are barely ahead. You, whatever song the night is set to. You saying, hey, hey, you can go home now or keep walking with me. God knows you trace out this path in your sleep. Even bitten bright red with the wind, even sliced straight out of a sadder story, my skin recognizes the poem as it sinks into me like tears. The one that doesn't call for the apocalypse first. The one where the only thing caving in is me and therefore manageable. The one where your hands aren't admissible fires and I never wish they were. It's so important that you understand. I'm moving here to see you closer. But these claps of chalk dust keep rolling out of our mouths, your face hidden from me only because we're both still alive. The moon is a shout of your name just past the clouds. The whole earth swings away spooked. Under my feet, I feel it. I promise, I'm not here to talk about you. I just broke open a little and you happened to be 2 feet away. Blood and confetti, believe it. Someone was going to have to watch. Someone. It's real because I'm glad that it's you. I'm glad that it's you. I'm glad that it's you. Thank you so much. That's all from me.
Thank you so much, Christina. Let's show her all the love in the chat, shall we? And remember, if you love a poem, if you love a line, if you love just what the writer is doing, show them the love in the chat. Drop it in there. We want to see it. And next, coming up, we have Akosua Zah. Akosua Zah is a Zambian Ghanaian poet. She holds an MFA in poetry from the University of Michigan. Her chapbook, Born in a Second Language, is forthcoming in 2021 and was the winner of Button Poetry's 2019 chapbook contest. She also received a Hopwood Award and a Meter Family Award. She is a finalist of Narrative's 12th Annual Poetry Prize, the Brunel International African Poetry Prize, the Palette Poetry Spotlight Award, the Furious Flower Poetry Prize, and Wick Poetry Center's Peace Poem Contest. Akosua has received fellowships from the Helen Zell Writers Program, Callaloo, and The Watering Hole. Her work has appeared or is forthcoming in publications including Pank, Quelly, Obsidian, and Wildness. She is currently working on her first poetry collection and can be found at akosuzah.com. Please give a warm welcome to Akosua Zah.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, KB, and thank you for everyone who joined. Gaia, Khalisa, thank you so much for putting this together. I am so honored to be on this panel. So I have 3 really short poems that are from my upcoming chapbook. I know a place where I can spread myself out and be enough to fill a room. That place you said I'll find one day, whose sky smells like Harlem, 116th and Lenox, where Ghana found its way into America and waits for me in the market on a table with beads, where my hands are not my hands, but my mother's. How lucky I'd feel prepared. I'd hear the sun against my window, pulsing its wanting eyes through the glass, and it will say, Take and eat. This is my body. I'd place my chin on the windowsill and would take and would eat, and my skin would grow even blacker from the joy of light. And God would see and know he sees a good thing. And he would say, let there be darkness. And so darkness would not mean forsaken. And he would not say to separate it from light. Remember what you told me? How I turned to my reflection in the glass and my mother would be a proud face sounding out of me. Her hands looking into my body, seeing what a good thing I have become. I'd turn and America would be a man in the distance asking for forgiveness, meaning it. And the woman wailing would not be my grandmother. And the woman wailing would not be me. And the woman wailing would not be 50 women in the living room at my grandfather's funeral, expected to perform their wailing every time a man walks in. Okay, second poem is called Life Cycle. Memory. There's the sound of the car lock snap, smack shut like sucking teeth. An old me child strapped into the back seat of my mother's Nissan, whistling. Whistling what? I don't remember. God knows. So does my mother. So what woman couldn't do his job? Now, I try to keep up with my body. My left hand cleaves to my right breast under my shirt for want of something to unidle. Each finger spreads like a wide tooth comb, then one around another tangles. If lucky, I won't have to be any more human than I am right now. I don't want to return in the next life, unless I'm an animal perched in its own language, a fiction unalive on paper in 2D spun from a child's pen, whatever is safe from this life, from what it cannot know. Okay, my very last poem is called Give Us This Day. I give this day to third day rains, to sickness in my body, to children with more time. I only understand where things are from where I am in the moment. Even my name was once a strange thing I had to get used to. My religion is coincidence, luck, and God. I pray and I pray, not sure to whom. Of course I love a boy who doesn't like me. Of course I want to be wanted. Of course about this too I prayed. I soak in a bath of Epsom salt and my sins. For God so loved the world that he gave and he gave, so his son died in the giving. Show me on the world where it doesn't hurt, where it doesn't make your faith tip and run dry. Before I could pray, I used my first words to call my mother. While Jesus wept for his father on the cross, I was held by mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Akos. Also, you can find more of her work at akosuazah.com. Next, we have Yalitza Ferreras. Yalitza is the recipient of a 2020 Rona Jaffrey Foundation Writers Award and a recent Steinbeck Fellow at San Jose State University. Her writing has appeared or is forthcoming in Best American Short Stories, Kenyon Review, Bellevue Literary Review, Asterix, The Southern Review, and elsewhere. She is the recipient of fellowships and awards from Jurassic Resident Artists, Yaddo Barbara Deming Memorial Fund for Women, and Voices of Our Nation. Please welcome Yalitza Ferreras.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. I also want to thank these amazing poets for letting me hang out with them. I am going to read from my novel in progress called The Four Roses. It is a scene set in the Dominican Republic in 1992. And Altagracia, my main character, is 16 years old. She's an aspiring visual artist, and she's just had a baby. Altagracia was trapped in her own Altagracia-shaped hollow, her body imprinted into the makeshift mattress, an indentation in the fabric remnants that prevented her from rolling over onto the baby. Sometimes she crawled in her trench over to the foot of the bed where her drawings and supplies were tucked in a wooden box. At first, she set out to document every baby gesture, mostly the gaping hole of a cry or the still mask of sleep. But he drained the life out of her. She was already back to elbows and clavicle. They'd never had much to eat, yet she created something so luscious. She drew him out of circles and circles, something she'd learned from a book. Fat cheeks, chubby knees, and plump butt loaves. The women who hovered around her were always taking away her pencils, warning that she would poke the baby's eyes out. One woman put her thumb, index, and middle fingers together and moved them from the baby to Altagracia, back and forth, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. She said, "You have to be careful. You're a mother now." But there was nothing in the benediction about mothers. She'd heard the women talking about past pregnancies, fearing their baby would slip out of their bodies, never making a sound, like a neighbor who said she stopped feeling the baby kick when she was just about due. She'd known something was wrong, but hoped it meant she was bearing an obedient child. Not too fussy. The women had lowered their voices. The baby had been born silent among the mother's screams. Altagracia had been afraid to look at her baby right after he was born. But he was whole and real. She had made a person, and there would be no going back. Altagracia made light sketches of the baby sleeping on her breast or with his lips puckered around her nipple. And when she concentrated on drawing, sometimes she could keep her mind from the pain and wish she'd drawn her nipples before they cracked like ripe, waterlogged tomatoes after floods. Her mother said she didn't have to draw every single thing and covered what Altagracia had begun calling her nipple series when any men were around, even her uncles. She even shielded Altagracia's father, who only visited after she became visibly pregnant, to yell at her mother for letting it happen. He'd always been proud of Altagracia's drawing abilities, tacking portraits of himself and the chickens in the colmado for everyone to see. But now, he just visited to see his grandson. Altagracia didn't want to get in trouble for talking back, but she too wanted to yell at her mother. "No need to cover me up. I've been seen." A thin vein of pee trickled down the baby's legs and pooled on the back of his knee. She picked him up, parted the netting, and after she stepped off the bed, made sure she scrunched the opening back together. She took him out back to clean him from small buckets filled with rainwater. The sky was the blues and greens of a dark bruise. She looked down at the baby, a miniature of his father, whom she'd only been with one stolen night, in an unfinished house he'd been hired to protect from thieves. Now she had a version for him forever, and that was all she had. Thank you.
Thank you, Yalitza. Up next, we have Dorothy Chan. Dorothy Chan is the author of Revenge of the Asian Woman, with Diode Editions, published in 2019. Attack of the 50-Foot Centerfold with Sport Press, published in 2018, and the chapbook Chinatown Sonnets with the New Delta Review, published in 2017. She was a 2020 and 2014 Ruth Lilly and Dorothy Sargent Rosenberg Poetry Fellowship finalist, a 2020 finalist for the Lambda Literary Award in Bisexual Poetry for Revenge of the Asian Woman, and a 2019 recipient of the Philip Frond Prize in Creative Writing from Cornell University. Her work has appeared in Poetry, the American Poetry Review, Academy of American Poets, and elsewhere. Chan is an assistant professor of English at the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire, poetry editor of Hobart, book review co-editor of Pleiades, and founding editor and editor-in-chief of Honey Literary. Visit her website at dorothypoetry.com. Please welcome Dorothy Chan.
Thank you so much, KB, for that beautiful introduction. Thank you, Khalisa and Gaia. I love you both. You are so wonderful, and it's a really great pleasure and honor to be here tonight. And now it's time to read a triple sonnet, of course, in the January edition of Poetry Out Now. This one is called Triple Sonnet for Celebrities with 3 Names, because all the celebrities I have crushes on have 3 names. I'll give you a list later. Triple Sonnet for Celebrities with 3 Names for Josh. If you've got 3 names and you're famous, does that mean 3 times the amount of fucking? I daydream about my ideal lovers and hearing cut when the director tells us to switch positions on the set of our bedroom. And what's a bigger turn on than someone saying your name under the covers? How about saying your name 3 times and oh, fuck, fucking fuckus. Yeah, that's a superlative, like the Beetlejuice effect, only freakier. Like, let's get transported into the house I built in a simulation game where my avatar seduced, then killed the richest man for the sake of inheriting, then remodeling his mansion into a dream of glass windows in every room, because that's how it's done. The pleasure of always watching what's going on, and I swear I'm really a nice girl. I really am. Just say the magic word and I'm all yours. And surveys revealed that the word lovers wish their lovers said more is please. And I wonder if please is short for pleasure, as in eat your girl right, as in I'll order a clitty clitty bang bang at a midnight viewing, as in please let me put on a show for you right now, as in I love any event with a ton of cameras, as in keep feeding me macaroons while you're filling me up in the tub. And if I was a celebrity, I'd tack my middle initial K back into my name for extra effect. My secret K, as in Ka-Ying, as in white boys. Will you stop calling me by my middle name because you think speaking Cantonese will bring us closer? And it's ironic how an actual lover adds in the K every time she says my full name. And she says it with such authority and grace. It's a turn on, like, baby, say my full name again and I'll record you. Why don't you, K? K is for kink. K is for not. K is for kissing. K is for king, crown me. And don't fool me by saying queen, because I know where all my power lies. And K is for knock me down and pin me on the grass, lover, because you on me is the closest to nature I'm ever getting. And one more poem for tonight from Revenge of the Asian Woman. This is titled Chinese Girl Videotape Leaked 2, and there is a 1, but I'm reading number 2. Chinese Girl Videotape Leaked 2. Somewhere in Singapore, there's a video of me lap dancing a British businessman, and I remember him fondly ordering Pellegrino for us outside the club for a cool down, saying to me, "You really are the world's most adorable girl," stroking my cheek, me at 23, a real minx in a borrowed, stolen Gucci dress. And daddy, 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 once you learn seduction, you know everything there is to know about life. Or as the French say, losing your virginity is equivalent to shedding your stupidity. And after fish and chips, he hugs me goodnight, escorting me back inside, a face that looks younger than the 40 he claims. But why would he lie about that? Those big macho arms that really can't protect me. No, I don't want you to protect me ever. I want to stand outside, smoke a cigarette. Yes, I know I have asthma. And more importantly, I'd rather have the perfect woman than the self-proclaimed Adonis. 1999, Fabio attacked by a goose on the Busch Gardens Apollo roller coaster. I'm so sorry about your face. I'm not your baby doll or that heartbreaking Batman villain who never grows up, trapped in the funhouse of mirrors until she stumbles upon her own reflection, aged naturally forever. Or what about Phoebe Cates' Linda from Fast Times, locked eternally in that topless waterfall scene before she devours Judge Reinhold? Replay, 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 that VHS from the last blockbuster on Earth. And it's tragic. And my garter's not for you to strip, and I never gave you or your boy permission to film me. No, I'm not whoring around in Singapore. I'm just having the most amount of fun a girl can have in a Gucci dress. Thank you.
Oh, that's me. I was applauding. That was wonderful. If you want to read more of Dorothy Chan's work, visit her website at dorothypoetry.com. Up next, we have Megan Fernandes. Megan Fernandes is a writer living in New York City. She is an assistant professor of English, as well as the writer in residence at Lafayette College. Fernandes holds a PhD in English from the University of California in Santa Barbara and an MFA in poetry from Boston University. Her work has been published in The New Yorker, Tin House, Plowshares, Denver Quarterly, Chicago Review, Boston Review, and elsewhere. She's the author of The Kingdom and After with Tightrope Books, and her second book of poetry, Good Boys, was published in Tin House in February 2020. Please welcome Megan Fernandes.
Thank you. Thank you to all the organizers and also the panelists. This is like the most fun I've had in a long time. I'm going to read you a few poems. The first is called Conversion, and it's about a conversation I had with a friend of mine, Sam Sachs, about the title of my book. I was like, it's going to be called Good Boys. And he's like a dog. And I was like, no, not like a dog, Sam. And so this is how it goes. Sam says you can't name your book Good Boys without a dog. But Sam doesn't know that I am the dog. I am the ultimate mutt, and I am telling him the story at the bar called College Hill Tavern, which looks like a front for some operation where all the bar stools appear as if they were staged in under 10 minutes. And the girl with the fake lashes knows I like a double gin. And I am telling Sam that I am a dog who was converted when I was 17. And my mother found an essay about how I was in love with a girl. And there was a Portishead reference in case you need me to date it. And this was way before the liberation of the young and the white twins on YouTube who come out to their dad and everybody cries and transforms. When I see those kids, all I think is they never had parents who were immigrants and who sent you to a lady and told you you had to solve it all in one session because this therapy was expensive. It wasn't so traumatic. It was funny. And I remember the couch. There were multiple couches and I had to choose a spot. And I sat on the couch farthest from her. And this wasn't the first nice lady who looked at me like I was a dog. And Sam, when I said it is called Good Boys, what I meant was that I was a good boy and loved good boys and good men and still loved them. But you see, I was 17 and alone, and nobody gave me anything except one book by Dickinson. And she was so neat, so precise, so human. And I wasn't. I just wasn't. I was just a dog. I wasn't even that good. They're all bummers. We're in that mode. I'm going to read a second poem that came out with the Los Angeles Review of Books earlier this year, and it's called Do You Sell Dignity Here? Do you know what aisle they sell dignity? I say to the store clerk on University Avenue. It is a cold October. Frank Ocean's Moon River croons in my head. And earlier that day, I lay flat in the bathtub like a wild infant, shower pouring, thinking of that Dickinson poem where she says, a bomb upon the ceiling is an improving thing. Steam gathering in celestial curls. And I imagine bombs fizzing out gas and me radioactive with love. At the grocery store, I ask where they sell dignity. And when the clerk says, sorry, what did you say? I explain that I'm looking for dignity, having lost so much in the last year, and was wondering if it was neatly placed by the baking powder or perhaps refrigerated with the perishables, given its fragile shelf life. And yes, I really did ask this, partly because I was being funny and trying to make a friend, but also I would have taken a hug or any acknowledgement that I'm a person who can laugh at myself despite walking with that odd angle of defeat. Children have no dignity, and I really admire that about them. I love their ruthless responses to injustices, their desire to feed birds in the park, to grieve the sea, their right to be tired in public. Do you sell dignity here? I ask one last time, and then tell him how it went down, how I had lost mine in Bushwick, of all places, near a building covered in glass, and white girl gentrifiers having their white girl epiphanies, such bad coming of age trash. Jesus, all my parents' sacrifices for this, for what? Is this why I came here from Africa? My mother would say over my flat body, hopefully in the shape of a shrug. I am undignified. I prey on fluorescent light. I enter through the automatic door of grocery stores with royal glide, feetless into an even white. I greet peaches and body cauliflower, nod to the pink packets of sweeteners and wrapped meat thighs. I am drawn to the milks and oblong fruit, dent a red Campbell can of soup. I want everything as cheap and damaged as this feeling. When they go low, we go high, a president's wife said. I go low some days. I go so low you cannot tell me from the animals we sell, from the hard grade my body has become. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Megan. Oh my goodness. I just need to, the words. I had words when I unmuted and now they are gone. But thank you. Thank you all for reading. And oh my goodness, this incredible talent. And unfortunately, we're at the last reader of the night. So I guess I have to introduce them, but I don't want this to end. Our second featured poet and our final reader is Camonghne Felix. Camonghne received an MA in Arts Politics from NYU, an MFA from Bard College, and has received fellowships from Cave Canem, Callaloo, and Poets House. He is the former director of surrogates and strategic communications at Elizabeth Warren for president, and is currently the VP of strategic communications at Blue State. Her first full-length collection of poems, Build Yourself a Boat with Haymarket Books was longlisted for the 2019 National Book Award in Poetry and a finalist for the PEN Open Book Award and the Lambda Literary Award in Bisexual Poetry. The author of the chapbook Yoke, she was recently listed by the Black Youth Project as a Black girl from the future you should know. Felix's forthcoming collection of poems, Dyscalculia, and collection of essays, Let the Poets Govern, are forthcoming from One World, an imprint of Penguin Random House. Please welcome Camonghne Felix.
Hi everybody. It's been so amazing to hear all of you incredible women and maybe otherwise identified poets, really inspired. It's been hard to go through the world not being able to go to a reading a week. So this definitely satisfied it for me. Thank you so much to Khalisa and Gaia. Khalisa, I remember back in the day, like almost a decade ago, just like hanging out with you in North Carolina. Really grateful to just still be kicking it with you and rocking. This is amazing. Thank you for putting it together. Okay, so I am going to read an excerpt from my forthcoming collection, Dyscalculia, which previously I was calling a collection of poems, but is actually a memoir in verse, which I feel really lucky to say because it is a hard medium. So I'm going to read one or two excerpts from there, and then I'm going to read a couple of poems, and that's it. This is from Dyscalculia. The first time I touched a computer, I can't exactly recall, but in my mind, I can find every single one my mother built, always nearly from scratch, constructing a motherboard memory by memory, the shell of the base warm and humming with the blood of her calculated intellect. When we were little, she would build computers all the time, either one of my sisters strapped to her chest, her arms bent in a bowl so as not to disturb them, screwing a power connector into a socket with bunny whalers sailing in the background. Once built and functional, she would install the games I liked, adjusting the computer chair so that my eyes would rest at level with the great pixelated sky of the monitor. My mother wanted to be a lot of things, an architect, a computer scientist, a recording artist, and ultimately she became all of those things, a startling combination of the guiding principles inherent to those occupations in one ethic. She studied criminal justice while writing songs with her band, and for a summer after getting a master's, she studied computers and thought to consider a computer science track, then found that neither the master's nor the computer science degree gave her a clear path. And as a first-generation immigrant, there was no precedent yet for following any dream that didn't allow for the possibility of immense, unjust wealth. And so she went to law school, where she realized there was no way to keep her basic integrity and make the kind of money she needed to meet immigrant expectations, buy a home, and put me through private school. So she chose her integrity and negated all of the above, turned computers and machines into an escapist hobby where she would deconstruct and reconstruct broken systems, spooling a cell out of the motherboard with surgical precision and packing a new, better cell back into its cavity like it were her own. All day, I would think about that empty computer screen and what lay behind it for me, intentionally misbehaving until someone would send me to my room as punishment, where I would sit delighted, fixated, tantalized as the night fell down around me, the eclipsing light falling across my cheeks like snow. Slowly, I began to think in the computer's language, its pointers shaping the contours of my dreams. I was dreaming in programs and codes and colors and compounds, dreaming in trapdoors that open with modular keys, dreaming in the voices of my virtual guides, dreaming from behind the wheel of a car powered by good grammar, Mavis Beacon's wily tone lulling me to sleep, singing, "Good job. Are you ready for the next lesson?" Yeah, thanks. Okay, I think I'm gonna move into poems now, so I don't take up too much time. This next poem, I guess I can give a little bit of background. I feel like this question, obviously after like identifying as a socialist, but also working in electoral politics, like it comes with its own contradictions. One question I wind up getting in both spaces, especially as talking about defunding the police and defunding ICE and any other carceral system. One question I get is like, do you believe in borders? Do you believe that borders are real? And I attempt to answer that question with this poem. It's called, Do You Believe in Borders? What I am feeling is the death of a million wayward bodies falling into each other like lattice work on a French pie. I draw a river and your God lines it out into a field. I say this earnestly and with a smile, so I'm not sure what you're asking me. Is it a question of shoulds or of ours? The nation state is a body. It is the Russian doll of bodies, a body housing a body of farmed bodies, all of whom mill about in their categorical nothingness with some parasite sucking from their breast. All over the globe, one breast drains into the mouth of a whole class, a safety valve for the gutless. You have to understand, my parameters here are limited, the space between my two selves shrinking and pulverized all the same. The wine delivery comes, my courier steps into the foyer. I say, hello, I say, thank you. I sign her receipt. I offer her a Clorox wipe. I stand away at 6 feet. I don't know. I do know. Nobody dies at my border. Okay, I'll do 2 more poems. Thank you. I'll do 2 more. I'll do what is kind of sort of a love poem. I mean, yeah, it's a love poem. It's a love poem for me. It's called Yes, It Is Possible. And you can find this poem in my collection, Build Yourself a Boat. And also I think on the Winter Tangerine website. Yes, it is possible. For most of my life, I remained unaware of this, the way a wingless arm is unaware of the conceit of flight. But now I know that yes, it is possible to be allergic to a person. It is possible for the body to be wholly autonomous in how it chooses to preserve itself, no matter what fleshy, amorphous image of the heart the synapse might conjure, a great fire muted by holy water, a blue room with one pink knob. No matter what you think you want, it's the body that decides and will reject whatever antibodies revile its stasis. And in this case, the foreign cell was the Pisces fish, a twin fish, a 2-fish flush, invirtuous and writhing in deceit and steeped in the drama of belonging to too many lies. And yes, I had prayed that he'd finally come back to me and that when he'd knock, he'd appear with one less life. But then he did appear, a xenophile on a tour of homes. That would be our last encounter. And all I could do was heave at the sight of him, head oscillating dizzily between 2 different men, 2 different lives, so Piscean in his world of Elysian highs. But this time, my systems nosed down, anatomy buckling out into autopilot, bringing me down to my knees to purge. And it was like this for days. I couldn't stomach a morsel, my receptors stunted with the shock of an imminent shift. I wept and cocooned myself into a sweat until at once it stopped. And I woke to find myself at the kitchen table, perfectly unbothered, fingering cubes of fresh wet aloe into my mouth, as if life itself were some benign victory I'd won. Thank you. And this last poem I'm gonna do, I just had one of those days a couple of weeks ago where I was just like, who am I? What do I do? What does it matter? Why can't I just like not do anything else anymore? And I needed to tell myself the story of my life, I guess, to be given the inspiration to actually pursue it. So yeah, it takes on a very, I don't know, similar to Mahogany's earlier poem, like meditative vibe. And so I'm hoping to end on that and give everyone a little bit of peace back. It's called Don't Let Me Be Forgotten. And this is the first draft, so it has work to do, but I'm excited to share a draft with you. Don't let me be forgotten. Every morning I stand up against the day with an eye on that axle of hours, knowing that these worlds behind me are only behind me in theory, because who really knows what is the truer function of liminal space or the truest function of time. I am not ahead of any of myselves, my ends meeting my beginnings, the cyclical note of my life returning back to my mother in any body she chooses across her innumerable lives. But in this singular body, in which I have embodied nightmares and forgiven my imposters, where I have broken myself into new bone to chisel a tunnel straight through this old star of singular cosmic significance, I would like to be remembered for my editing, for my ambitious desire to force a new analog, for my ignorance to convention and my dimensional arrogance, for my everyday knowing that there is something, some principle, some viscous truth tugging us toward our greater humanities. And remember that I brought desire to an empty well, that I filled it with the wine of lucidity, that I assembled my own economy and chose no army, that I made care our simplest crumb of survival, that I made care our eminent medium of trade. Thank you.
Thank you. And can we just leave all the love notes in the chat for all of our readers tonight? They did such an incredible job. I still have chills over here. I'm not fully recovered from all the readings. I just want to live in this moment forever. I'm so sad it's over, but I know I'm saving up all my quarters and pennies and everything to buy all of these books. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. And of course, my uncle calls now. But anyway, thank you all for coming. And we're going to pretend the phone's not ringing. Thank you all for coming. And this is one of many, hopefully, future Women of Color Speak part of the reading series. The next one will occur on February 13th. And these happen every second Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The next one will be a special edition entitled Men Be Menning, because they be menning sometimes, let's all be honest. And it will be emceed by Taylor Bias and Khalisa Ray. So be on the lookout for details about that upcoming event at WOCspeak.com. And I think that's it for me. Is that it for me? Special thanks. Oh, no, it's not. Special thanks for everyone. And if you want to follow the Women of Color Speak series, follow them on all mediums of social media at WOC Speak. That's at WOC Speak. And if you're interested in signing up for the next reading, DM them on their social media channels at WOC Speak, or email them at wocspeak@gmail.com.
Thank you, KB. Everybody get it up for KB. You're amazing. Thank y'all for coming. We love you, and we will see you next month. Bye.